Hey guys, it's Super19, and a while ago I made this video how AI ruined my art, and the video is really pretty much about me looking at my art from a couple of years ago when I was 15, 16, 17, and it's I guess if not to be deep about it, but self-healing video, seeing, maybe I could come back to this and maybe I don't need to be as upset about it or as sad about it as I am, unfortunately, as you can tell how my tired voice, even in this video and in the video I made a while ago. And the video is just me going over, art like I mentioned. So today we're going to be doing the same thing, but, it's going to be like part two. Imagine this was part two. So we're going to start random. So I'm going to start right here. So this is Ichiraku Ramen. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Naruto is one of my favorite anime. I loved the anime growing up, and a lot of you degenerates like me. No, I'm kidding. I probably grew up with anime, Naruto in general. And this is one of my first models. I made this when I was a freshman in high school, and it was really fun to make. It was super relaxing. I was listening to Naruto music while making this, and I thought it was just the most relaxing thing to make. And it's, it's not the best, but, it looks really cute. Just like one of my first models. Alright, here's a jump scare for you, but this is Yelena from Attack on Titan. This is actually one of my first sculpts. I'm a big fan of Attack on Titan, and I'm laughing because this looks like spaghetti to me. I've always thought it looked, because I think I had mentioned this in the last not even tutorial, a video, that hair is really hard in 3D in general to texture, and this just looks like spaghettis to me coming down on her hair. But I mean, I guess you can see this is more of a stylized thing, but I had a lot of fun with it, and I actually made the background really match like the Attack on Titan scene. I think it made this around Halloween like a couple of years ago, so that's why I think I tried to make it as scary as possible. But yeah, I made different aspects of it. Here's the model, or different angles. This one I feel like looks the best, but also the nose is super weird. Also, you see the weird glaring right here? It's just, ugh. I didn't have skin textures. I think the most used skin texture in 3D is the skin texture XYZ, and those are pretty expensive, especially when you buy multiple. I didn't have, well, I obviously don't, I'm still pretty broke, but I didn't have money at the time. A couple of years, or maybe a year or two, I bought a single texture XYZ texture from Texture XYZ. So I had to kind of, that's why I had to stylize it, because I was trying to make it go for realism, but, obviously I'm not a good sculptor, so I couldn't. But, this one looks good, actually. This angle right here, other than the spaghetti hair, it doesn't matter. And then obviously the eye. I think the eye looks kind of cool. The eyes were one of the easier to make, the texture-wise. So here's another cool model. Yeah, this is one of my favorite models. I made this when I was 18. I was turning 18. I was pretty depressed about it. I don't know why. It's just I was in a weird time at that time, and it's just like I was so depressed about turning 18, and I just thought being an adult was just the worst thing ever. And I don't know. I think societal-wise, not to get deep, I think they just really promote being adulthood the worst, because you have to pay taxes and go to college and provide 9-to-5 job, and it just sounds super depressing to me. So I made this being pretty depressed, and I think a lot of people could relate, especially if you're an upcoming adult. But that's how this art really conveys my feeling about being an adult at that time. Right now, I mean, it's a lot better, right? I get to choose my own hours in terms of college, and thankfully work too, which is really cool. So actually adulthood is a lot better to me than being in high school. Because in high school you gotta wake up in the morning, and you gotta deal with a lot of class clowns, at least in my school and whatnot. So, and it's just like the worst thing to me. You can see mountains of responsibility, being alone, college, immense stress, immense anxiety, and so on. This is just how I felt at the time. Obviously I don't feel that way anymore, as I mentioned. And you can see the little robot from Nier Automata. Oh my god, Nier Automata, one of my favorite video games. I love Japanese RPG, and Nier Automata just hit me hard. Yeah, this is very Nier Automata inspired, as you can tell. Not the best building models. This render means a lot to me in general. But this was supposed to be me when I was turning 18, and I had long hair at that time, and that's why I added long hair. But yeah, it's supposed to be an emotional render. It's supposed to be some sort of generator. I don't really remember. But yeah, the teeth being really weird. I sculpted the skull, and then the teeth I just imported was a model. I am really terrible at sculpting teeth because they're really hard. And it's supposed to be like futuristic. This is a Nier Automata. I don't know why I gave it red eyes. Maybe I was trying to capture it being angry or something. They're supposed to be adorable robots, but whatever. Here's the model. Here's what it looks like. And here's the model on this here. I really like the little mask I designed for it. It's supposed to be like a Fallout thing, but I thought it was kind of cool. I don't know why I did oil dripping out of my skull. I think I was supposed to do gasoline, or I don't know what I was thinking with this oil thing. I think it's supposed to be like blood, but like friendly. Just a little jump scare warning here for you. This artist, he does horror mangas, and some of his illustrations are a bit crazy and, you know, icky. But he's one of my favorite manga artists, and the first book I read from him was Gyo, or Gaio, or however you say it. And I started sculpting the main character in there, or one of the main characters, which is this girl with the things coming out of her mouth and whatnot. Again, sorry if you're sensitive to this stuff. You know, click away if you think this is too gross. But I thought it's just such a cool manga. I really loved the illustration and whatnot. The story too is really cool. It was one of the first horror mangas. So what I did is I took that and wanted to sculpt it in Blender to make a 3D reimagination. Obviously not as good. I can't capture this, you know, gross looking horror that he's good at. So, but I tried my best. So here's the model. It looks really disgusting. Like, I just looking at it makes me want to throw up. So I am so sorry if you're like find this disgusting, but if you love horror movies, this probably looks good to you, I think. But it's just it was one of my first sculpts too, by the way, and I really wanted to capture the grossness of the character in the manga, and it's kind of a sad story too. You know, I'm not gonna spoil anything, obviously, but I don't remember how I made these like pimple thing. It's just really gross. I think I just imported. No, I didn't import. I actually made this and I textured it. It's like a little cylinder or whatever, and I made it look as gross as possible and wet. And I imported it. So the eyes could be a little better. Sculpting in general could be a little better, but again, her whole body is supposed to be like deformed from whatever. I forgot what the disease they were having or whatever. Some kind of a mystery disease. And the hair looks a little weird, but again, it's like she's supposed to be deformed, the character from the manga, and you know, she's not supposed to look perfect. So yeah, ignore that. But yeah, it's really disgusting, by the way. So I'm not sorry. I keep apologizing, but again, I did this, you know, a while ago. It looks really cool. If you love Junji Ito work, if you don't, this looks terrifying. But you know, that was my whole point, is to capture that. And this was an Eevee, by the way. This one. The other ones are in cycles, obviously. And this one looks so good right here. It looks like an actual. More than like kind of Resident Evil like stuff, other than the weird eye, weird terrible eye thing. But that was one of my proudest work I made, at least in my opinion. And I like the model of this. I feel like this is even more gross in black and white. All right, enough with the gross thing. Let's go. Let's, you know, step back and look at something a little nicer. So this, I love Steampunk. I already mentioned in the other video, if you watched it. Steampunk is like one of my favorite stuff to make, and this is supposed to be a steampunk ship, nothing too crazy about it. And again, one of my first models, really had fun to it, especially the texturing. I think this is one of the first times where I had to import multiple textures and merge them together. As you can see, there's like 3 different textures in a model. You guys watched Ergo Proxy back in 2000? Yeah, I think it came out in like 2003. I watched it years ago, like 2011 or something. No, not 2011. I was way too young. Like 2015 or something like that, and I just fell in love with the anime. I really liked the ship they had in there. I thought it was a really cool ship. So I turned into Steampunk, and yeah, I have a little animation here actually, but it's not that good. Oh yeah, ignore that. That's for another video. But so yeah, the ship's just coming out of the cloud. I completely forgot about this animation. It's just nothing crazy. It's just a bunch of volumetrics. You know, it's just, again, this is a video more for me than anything, to kind of look back, because I like watching my own videos. I'm a weirdo. And you know, if you feel inspired, I hope you do. Again, as you can see, there's still a lot of work here that I can show, and I might make 3 and 4 parts, just again for myself than anything. There's some funny renders in here that I haven't showed yet. Like I said, I hope you feel inspired, and I hope you learned something. Again, I don't know. My opinion about AI just gets worse and worse. It just seems like that it's getting better, unfortunately. It's just killing a lot of artists, metaphorically. It's just killing a lot of artists' work, and it's just like, unfortunately, to me, at least, the way I see it is that the average person does not give a fuck if it's AI or human or whatever. All they care is if it looks good or not, unfortunately. Especially by the time it looks so good to the point where you can't tell the difference between AI or human. It's just like, that's when it becomes depressing to all of us artists. It's like, you don't know anymore. It's like, especially the content on TikTok and Instagram and all that. It's like, I don't know. The more I talk about it, the more it just makes me super upset and ruins my day. But yeah, 16-minute video. I hope you like me yapping too much, and hope you learned something, like I said, and thank you for watching.